What's your name?
William Carter.
Okay. Okay, now I'm going to ask you a question. How does students prepare for that final exam?
Well, it depends on the class. You can't prepare for different classes in the same way because they're two totally different classes. You have to take into account what type of class it is, like whether it's math-based versus essay-based, and what type of professor do you have. Do they give cumulative exams? If the exams are cumulative, are they using questions from old tests, or are they coming up with totally new material?
Okay, now, how many do pass their final exams in a semester?
I have no idea. I know I passed all mine, but I don't know about everyone else.
You don't? Okay, now, how many, actually study for the exam?
Well, that, I would say a grand majority of them do, because a lot of times they coast through the semester thinking, you know, I can get by with a C or whatever, and then all of a sudden it's finals week and they're sitting at a 65 and they're like, oh, I don't want to fail. And then everyone's in the library until 5 a.m. studying 3 days in a row, not taking baths, not eating, and just generally going crazy because now their semester is on the line and they don't want to fail any of their classes.
Okay, now, how many students do you help study for the final exam?
So far, ever since I've been tutoring, about 4.
Okay, now, how many actually passed them?
Well, the one that I know of, because he's my friend, but the other 3 I never asked them, so I couldn't tell you whether they passed or not.
Okay, now, what subjects have you taught in helping them with final exam?
Well, I've helped with chemistry, physics, organic chemistry. I didn't do physiology too much. And I've also done statistics, calculus 1, and I've done a bit for the English literature and writing and composition, and French 111 and French 211.
Okay, now, in the final exam, let's say like some classes have a paper due, a final exam. How would you go about helping them in the final exam when there's a paper due instead of a test?
Well, if there's a paper due, the first thing I would do, make sure they understand what they have to write about. Make sure they understand all their research information. Then I would have them write the paper, then I would proofread it, making sure the grammar is correct and the sentence structure is correct, and hopefully that's enough to make them do well.
Okay, now, have you helped any students who passed their exams and graduated from here?
I have no idea. I'm sure some of them probably have graduated by now, but I wouldn't know.
Okay, now, have you met any students who look dead tired and exhausted during the final exam?
Yes.
Like, how they look?
How they look?
Yeah, how they look in the face, like were they like exhausted?
They look like
do they have bags under their eyes?
They had bags on top of bags. They look like dead people on feet. That's what they look like.
It is, okay. Well, okay, now, when you helped them with the final exam and stuff, how smart was they? Were they intellectually smart?
Well, it depends on how you describe that, because not being able to understand the material doesn't preclude someone from being intellectually smart. Like, I could consider you intellectually smart because you do really well in certain classes, but then just because you struggle in a certain class, it doesn't all of a sudden mean you're not intellectual. It just means you're struggling in a particular class. And that happens to everyone.
Okay. Now, how many students have come to you saying they actually failed, like let's say like they're close to the edge of the class. Let's say like they have a F they can pull up. Now, how many come to you in this situation right there? Like,
I've had one person my freshman year who needed a 95 on their chemistry final to get a C, and considering she failed the last 3 tests, I doubt she made it, but she came asking for help anyway. It was a bit too late, but she came.
Did she ever retake a class again?
It was the end of the semester. She didn't go to number 2 chemistry. She didn't take chemistry 106, so I don't know whether she passed or failed or what.
Okay then. Well, okay, let's say if you have any advice to future students who are about to take a final exam, what would you give them?
Well, for one, if you study won't feel so bad. And also don't, like, if you separate your studying into time, you don't have to, like, stay up for 60 hours straight without taking a bath, living on 5-hour energy drinks, hot coffee, and donuts, just so you don't fail a semester.
Okay then. Well, thank you for your time.